This is day 606 of the Arukh HaShulchan Yomi. I sponsor coming share more of the Arukh HaShulchan Yomi. Please contact me directly. It'd be very greatly appreciated. As you might be able to tell, I am out of town at the moment. Away from home. Gatlinburg, Tennessee. We are doing today's Shim and Shin Nun Ches to Zion till Chav Beis. To Zion. There came a Malcolm Tour Rishus Yachid. There is no Malcolm Tour in a Rish. Sorry, this is Rishin in A. Okay. Tezain. Findings by its way been clearly clarified that Ilanos ain't about in Dios Shalom. Trees do not cancel a person's dwelling place. Sha'adram, on the contrary, Shalom. No team Ilanos who can't plant trees for decoration. I was drawing kikinos, but grain is like gardens, which are considered kapefos, utvuos, sodeh, and the produce of the fields. Battling Dios Shalom and negate a person's habitation. People don't plant in a place where their habitation is, but outside the habitation. And if you plant, you nullify the dira in that place. Even though it was an absolute dira previously. You first opened the door and then he was surrounding the area. The seeds cancel the hekef, and the place becomes like all other ginos that are considered to be carmelous. But there are two details here. Most of the chutzner has been planted, but then the minority of the chutzner is negated by the majority. And you can't carry in all of it. These are muta, the minority of it has been planted. If that minority has base of or less, but the minority is of the karpav is batal relative to the majority. The muta talab tukuli allowed to carry throughout it. But if the place which is planted is more than a base of sign, here of shashis batal, it can't be nullified. There karmelis gomer, it's an absolute karmelis. It's so true. The chutzner is also not negated by it. Came to row because it's a majority. Nevertheless, we come parts. Because it's not completely open to a place. It's just also for it. Of course, therefore, you're not allowed to carry the entire chutzner. Mishnah Bura says that mechza is also okay. Next, in this case, not karov, or it's like rov kosher, not rov pasul. You say Vimash Kosam the King Bagamar Batur Shulchan all these say the same. El Shechokim and Karpav Chatzar, distinguishing a Karpav and a Chatzar, Kamashis Bars we shall see. But if you're Ramberg the 19 Vav, Tamua bin Yazeh, he says something astonishing. Shkosav he writes Tam Malcolm Yosef Base of Sign, Shukabutira, places more than a base of sign which is surrounded to be a habitation. In a base of sign, if two saw of it are planted, muta talta bakuli allowed to carry throughout the enclosure. Vima malcolm mazarua, you also base of sign, the place is planted is more than a base of sign. Also the talta bakuli now to carry the entire karpaf. But not the ruba, if you plant the most of it with trees, already you could chutzner, it remains the chutzner muta talta bakuli allowed to carry throughout it ad kanashana. But Nisa ben Ruben Muta has distinguished when it's planted with produce, whether it's majority with grain, whether it's majority or minority. With Yosef, it's also astonishing. That's a place more than a base of sign. In these are base of sign. If a base of sign is planted or less, of course, mutter. But yes, a base of sign the cloud filamatgos there. Yeah, more than a base of sign even means a tiny amount more. She's a base of sign. Maria Kugum still when the base of sign was planted. The base of sign is the majority of the area. He'll be allowed to carry throughout it. He brings that here in brackets. So in go to slow. Hey, why did the speak about this? So in go to. Yuches vanilla is like the deep Rambam Burim Betamans. The Rambam is clear. First, Perush Acher Gemara Shami has a different interpretation Gemara. She the kosher lay it's difficult to Be'echav Shalamar Hakisay when these are Ruba Asur Afilim Maim Bo Yosef Base the same. Hakisay the majority of the karpav is planted. Then planted with grain. It's also carry even there is if it's not more than even if it's less than base asayim. It says that the beginning carpov and not more than the base asayim and tzurchech of ladira. You don't need to have a surrounding for habitation. So why does they forbid the rest of the chutzah? Seeing they're even mutar unto themselves. It's definitely like this. So yoser the base asayim afilu he mute. If it's one of the base asayim, even it's a minority. But about karchach osim hachatzin neshu parts milu. It's only asked the rest of the chutzah because it's parts milu. It's completely open that area. The kemush came. That's the case. Then the chiluk ben rov milu. There's no majority minority. El ben yeser base asayim, but rather she more base asayim, but base asayim itself. The bracket says here, this one's you say, minority is permitted. Base asayim, it's only if it's a base asayim or less. It's not really because of the minority. But rather because it says their karpov, which is more base asayim. Fukaf the deer and surrounded for the purpose of a habitation, rubo, and then the majority becomes planted as also. The Yosemi base asayim, and more than base asayim even includes 100 sa'ah that asks the entire enclosure. That explains the zesh and the daig miuto shari. I would say on the other hand, minority is okay. Aino elok shu rak base asayim. It's only if it's only a base asayim. The chaygav the bemis lami ne miuto mutar. In that case, it's not permitted because it's a minority, but because it's base asayim or less. You test. But tamo to Rishon of the Shvilu to know that Nisa Ruba Havale Kniza Kulo. Why the Rishon hold that when most of it is planted with grain, it's as if the entire thing is planted. The Miut Holy Chachro because minority goes as a majority. But Kulo have a yes or base if it's more if the majority of here is more than base asayim, Milosh Gemara have a Kniza yes or base asayim. So it's more than base asayim has been planted. Milosh Gemara. Before Shomer Kain and Shomer says explicitly there, therefore they hold the Gam Lashon Achron Kain who befrat hazeh. Also Lashon Achron and the Gemara, whatever it is, this is all true also in this detail. Rambam related to Lashon Achron Lomi as far as the clause. Rambam, we don't go after minority majority according to the last Lashon at all. But even to Rambam, Bochas Miyoser Beis Hasayim Enuklum. So according to Rambam, less Beis Hasayim, the area which is Nisra, it doesn't matter at all, even if it's a majority of the field. According to Shmuel, if that amount is already the majority of the karpov, or Chatzem Moshe, or the Chatzem Moshe Charov Amiyut, it draws afterward. It changes the classification of them, even on the minority of the field. Because it's all forbidden. The Yosem is there. They say even more than this. These are rule. The majority has been planted with grains. I feel even if when that which is planted together, the rest is only precisely a base of sign. Also, talto, you told him based on bias though, it's still carried from it to the house and from the house to it. Mishum nizroim bevatli madira, because nizroim negate the zero. I feel pachs me the society, me less than the society, it's the majority. As a chekos abagra. Yosem is society also talto. I feel behem, and if it's more than a society, but so talto filu behem. Even in the Carmelists, Yosem Nidal Amos, more for Amos. Let's see if that's Carpel Yosem Base Sign, Carpel which is larger than Base Sign, Shukapa deer which is found for habitation. But not the Ruben laws, they plant mostly with trees. I feel like I'm between Shushua, even not planted in rows. And they don't cancel the dwelling place. I believe these are over the majority has been planted with grain. Then the grain cancels the dwelling place. Even though it's only precisely a sign of grain. These are the majority has been planted with grain. Sign mutter. If there's no more than this sign, it's okay. Also, if it's more than this sign, it's forbidden. End quote. Which doesn't mean to say the majority. The minority follows the majority. Is a kulo, and it's the entire thing is planted. If part of it's planted, also it's forbidden. Brackets here. Yoser Misasayim with deeper than also need was betos. Okay, whatever there's a mistake there. Vakavana means to say if altogether is more than the base of sign. Also, talk to Bakuli now the carrying all of it. Yosim down Amos went for Amos. I feel him, but ain't Bo Yosim base of sign in the totality there isn't a base of sign. Mission the Vatli Ladira because the amount of seeds which are there cancel the habitation. Also, Taltel. Misham Levada. Misham it's not carry from there into the house. Abba Bisham Gufa Muta Taltel, but in the carpet itself, you're allowed to carry Bekulan in its entirety. Kedin carpet sheni yosef base sign, like any carpet is not more than the base of sign. Abba in this time, the minority has been planted. Amen. Borel base of sign. If there's only precise the base of sign. In the enclosure, even though the place where it's planted, then the habitation is cancelled. It's not a space of sign. It's not going to ask for the rest. Vashashlan is on the rest which wasn't planted. It's not negated to or subordinate to that which is planted. Because that which is planted is a minority. So, also taught me carpet. We can't care for this the carpet in the house and vice versa. But because the place where it's planted in the spot of the application is negative. The carpet look of the has the halacha, not mean they obey internally, but externally have a carpet look of the dira. So the time made shop and buys now take me to a house. They made a gamba mosor. I'm sorry, meha mutter aser. Also the part which is to be mutter is aser. I mean, they should put is right because it's completely open to the seats. Those who permit the talta to take from mutzah advice, take from the part which is made to the house. The post it's the karmas gomer because open to also places only when it's open to a total complete karmas, not to this kind of not to the carp of karmas. Shagam also talks. It's got to be open to an area which you're also allowed to carry. Yosim down almost more promises. Zoe on these Yosim is the sign. That works at the area just planted more than the base of sign. These are mutatal bekulo. But in such a case where you can also carry in the totality of the place which is planted. Viraka bayis also, and it's only also to the house. When you can put so it's not called completely open, and forbid the rest of that enclosure. Which has two opinions, and it concludes like this: where the seeds are less than the base of the sign, you certainly have to be machmir, and not carry from the house into the yard, and vice versa. To those who lean to even take part of the garden itself into the house. Okay, wherever it may be. Also from the house to a gniza. I'm sorry, the kina. From the house to the garden. And we can learn this in Shas Chak. Okay, back to HaShulchan. Vima Nizo Yosem is the sign of the plant area which is planted with seeds is more than a base of sign. Also, Taltabakula, now to carry in its totality, Yosem down Amos, more than 4 Amos, Tazarua, who could karmas gomer, that which is planted is an absolute karmas. Vamoisa Prasuna, the rest of the karmas is open to that area in its entirety. But if therefore there's a wall between the two of them, so they're not connected to each other. Zel Karpav Kishisa, that's in a Karpav was planted. Aval Chatzep in the yard, if it's planted, it's not Rosh Hashanah Yesh Lazraim Koach Zeshi Badu Diras HaChatzer. The seeds have the capacity to negate the dira of the Chatzer. Kamosha because of a Torah Shulchan Aruch, Ayin Sham, L'Shem Rashi because of the Vare Em Avali. Rashi not Mevatel Chatzer, Bain so B'Siv Haba. Okay, Chafav, Zesh because of Rabbeinu Beis Yosef B'Siv Yud. It says right, Mishesh Logina B'Chatzer is your garden in his Chatzer and Murocha Rav Chatzer. So the majority of the Chatzer, if you ain't well base of sign, even it's only two base of sign. Loy Tatamen and Rabbi Chatzer Rabbi can carry from it and from the Chatzer into the house. But Yosef is a sign. If it's more than a sign, Loy Tato Boy can't even carry in itself. Over Chatzer and in the courtyard El Arba Amos, only for Amos. V'gam Vimu Miyat HaChatzer, if it's minority yard. Mashi yesh bo yesem misasayim. Wherever it's more than misasayim, osa kol achotzer. It's forbidden. It's forbidden. It forbids the entire chotzer. I mean yesh bo sasayim or pachas, but it's 2 saw or less. Also loti bayis in mimel lebayis. Just not to take from it to the house. Ad kan l'shana. V'achibush doesn't mean to say. The Basifa Kodim, the previous sip here, in Karpav, we explain Alchol Karpav Kshin Naidalo, Kshin Yisrabon, it's planted in it. Umikam Beer, Din Chotzer, from this he went on to explain Aloch of Chotzer, Kshin Yisrabon, when it's planted within it. The Kila Chotzer Mikarpav, and a Chotzer is more lenient than Karpav. Stila Bekarpav, and a Karpav Kshin Yisrabon, when the majority of it is planted, I feel like Bo Raksasayim, even though it has 2 saw or less. In Bechol, Yeshayim, it's a sign if their totality is more than base of sign. Also, the Talta Bam, you can't gain them more, even the place which is not a Karpav, which is a Sifa Kodim, like a previous Sif. Ava B'Chatzer ain't Yisrael, but the Chatzer is prohibition of Rakshin. These are Yetzer base of sign only if that which is planted is more than base of sign, not by rove. These are any Yetzer base of sign, but that which is planted is less than a base of sign. I feel in Bechol, Yetzer base of sign, even in the totality there of the yard, there's more than a base of sign. Prohibition only from there to the house. B'chatz itself, and even the place which is planted with the grain, you'll have to carry in its entire area. Because that which is planted doesn't have the capacity to negate the habitation of the chatzer and the robo, unless it's majority. Yes, a base of sign. 2 conditions: majority and more than a base of sign. V'gam Mishnafkin is also a ramification, a distinction between a karpav, between a karpav. Shumiyut ha'chatzim, it's a minority of the chatzim, or a karpav, or of the karpav. Then it's a base of sign, but doesn't have more than a base of sign. So the karpav, in the karpav, like Gavna, B'yana, we could explain, also the taltel, be sure, be called karpav. Now we're carrying the entire karpav, the base, labais, the house, the dairy shresh, the sifa kodim, the first previous sif. V'chatzah kol moedim, and the chatzah, everybody agrees, the rock, the taltel, me as a rule labais also. Or you take from the place which is actually planted into the house is also. But the which is beyond that which is planted, mutter is permissible. Not everybody agrees to this. Ken Rabbeinu always says that the base permits this. Bring by Chotzer like 2 opinions like before, but I did by Karpav. Okay, Vatasis Varosh Mestapkin, not sure. Do I rock Karpav Mevatlim Azraim as Dira? Perhaps only in a Karpav does the grain cancel the habitation. Not by a courtyard or another type of expanse altogether. The Gamatur said, and to also bring this. Maybe you're in an entire city when you're at a time of difficulty. We can rely on this. Mishabur doesn't mention there's anybody who argues in the Mechaber and it's Matir. Sharatin writes that this is the Mechaber is not Macher because of Suffolk, but he's definitely being Macher, so there will be no leniencies. But the Arukh HaShulchan does suggest, excuse me, in Shas Chak, one could rely to on the fact that it's a that only the area which has this roim, you can't carry its bebato dir non chatzur chava, which would be a very big kula. Back to Arukh HaShulchan, gam achrei, gam gabe ir became mutam. Besides that, maybe vis-a-vis the city, even as a base of sign, is a minority. But yesh emni chim asot source of pesach like gabna yesh cholas. Interesting. And today the people don't allow to make source of pesach around the karpav to exclude it, and maybe this way there's a way to do it, get around it. Kuli haivu lai, but he's not 100% sure about this, and he hesitates to actually employ this. Today people have gardens, b'chotzer in their yards. Also, gutter beino ben chotzer, make a fence between it and the chotzer. Okay, if that's the case, le'etzem hachotzer ein hagina lo malav lo morid. As far as the chotzer is concerned, the gina is michutz lamachane. We had talto mito gina to also carrying from the garden into the chotzer. Imu yoser mi beis hasaim, if the gina is more than the beis hasaim, also the garments can be yoser. But yoser beis hasaim, it's not beis hasaim. Mutter talto mito chotzer can take from the gina into the chotzer, the tocha for the chotzer into it. Aval bais also talto, but the house you're not allowed to take me'agina from the garden, became me'abayis agina, even from the house to the and vice versa, from the house to the garden. And there's also from the chotzer into it. Also, Dr. Kalim should shove to bebe, so you can't carry to take out vessels which spent Shabbos in his house, which is not part and parcel of an Erev here. These barbers even Shinai base. See, involved in Tasif Konhe. Shame Bam go there when there's no fence. Fabiano will explain. I'm going to see Kon Yudal with brackets. I'm going to see Kon Yudal. Shulchan Ben base of sign, Ben post base sign, decision base of sign, lesser base of sign. The Chol Shulchan Aruch, the Shulchan Aruch, the decision base of sign, Ben more than base of sign. Commercial custom of Matzah, Shulchan and Sham. Then there's no compelling reason to say the Marshal. Vaikar Kapsag Shulchan Aruch, the primary Psag Shulchan Aruch, Kapish Biyano. I explained it. The Duke. Mr. Bura says it's appropriate not to eat or drink anything in a gina on Shabbos because it's very difficult to be careful not to remove it elsewhere in a way you can't carry it.